three at a remarkable rate right now, which is a huge boost to a Timberwolves offense that has really struggled to maximize that shot over the last couple of years, and even including the start of this year. And now he just really has a great feel for the game. He floats to that corner when penetration comes, and he's open for kickouts, and he hits that shot reliably and consistently. So that's good. He has these, I mean, his arms are, some of the longest I've ever seen. So he is able to get his hands in passing lanes. He's able to block shots at the rim. He's just able to bother people, and he just always plays under control. Even as a second-year player, it doesn't look like he's playing, at 1,000 miles an hour. Sometimes Josh Okogie looks like he's going a little too fast for his own good. Keita always seems to be under control. He's done a lot of work on his game, and I do think that he does belong in the rotation long term. And I think that once Jake Layman comes back, hopefully what you're going to see is Treveon Graham kind of moved out of the rotation because he is really struggling, and Keita kind of taking up some of those minutes to help absorb that, and give Ryan Saunders another shot maker and a capable defensive presence.
I want to talk about Wiggins, but let's go back to the draft in which Luka Doncic was taken third. Yeah. Did the Suns and the Kings absolutely blow it?
Yeah, 100% they absolutely blew it. And, look, I'm wrong on players all the time, but I could not believe that Phoenix was not taking Luka Doncic number one overall. They take DeAndre Ayton, who was at Arizona, but he was there for 4 months. But he's a big, he's really talented. But he's a center. Like, centers are not as important in this day and age as playmaking, offensive-minded wing players. And Devin Booker desperately needed a ball handler next to him. Now, Ricky Rubio has come in there this year and really been a big help, and has kind of unlocked some things for the Suns, which is one reason they're kind of surprisingly competitive. But to pass on Luka Doncic for DeAndre Ayton was front office malpractice. There's no question about it. I think the Kings passing on Luka, they said they had De'Aaron Fox, and so they didn't know if the two of them could work together. Yes, they absolutely could have worked together. Marvin Bagley is a good player, but it just a huge mistake. I mean, Luka Doncic is going to be in the MVP conversation multiple times over the course of his career. He may win one or two of them as well. And so you pass on a player like that, it's terrible. I'll even say, Jim, as good as Trae Young has been, and he's been terrific for the Atlanta Hawks, the Hawks, drafted Luka at 3 and traded him to Dallas at 5.
Yeah.
Like, I still would have taken Luka there over Trae Young because I think Trae is terrific, but I think Luka is a multiple-time MVP candidate and just a transformative type of a player. And there are reasons bad teams stay bad, and it's when it's passing on a guy like that, for especially for Bagley and for DeAndre Ayton, but certainly you can make the case for Trae Young as well.
I said let's talk about Wiggins. We're going to be talking about Wiggins so much this year. Let's save it for almost a full episode where we just really break down. Because what I want to get into you with is all the national stories that are starting to be done on Andrew. Are they getting it right? Or are they just kind of doing what sometimes it's easy to cherry pick? I think there are very clear reasons why Wiggins is better, and it's not always the cliched answer. But let's save that for when we can really dive into it deeply. To wrap up this episode of the John Krawczynski Show, because we have not yet started our Gopher basketball show on the network yet, let's talk a little bit of Gopher hoops. They beat Clemson on Monday night. It was kind of their first decent win of the season. Yeah. Where do you see this team going? Is this a team that just needs more time to play together, or is this a team that might be in trouble?
Well, I'm going to say I don't know yet, Jim. And I know we're not supposed to say those things.
It's okay. You can say that on the
sense, but I'm not sure yet. They're coming off of a good year. I think that I really wish that Amir Coffey would have come back. I wish that
Eric Curry was healthy.
That Eric Curry was healthy, and I think that Richard Pitino would have a little bit more of a chance to kind of field the the team that he recruited and kind of envisioned coming together. But hey, that stuff kind of that happens in college, in basketball. You got to be able to roll with those punches. The performances early have been underwhelming, to say the least. I don't know that I don't think you expected them to finish in the top 4 in the conference this year, but you did hope that they were going to be able to build on some of that momentum from last year and really get moving. I think they absolutely desperately needed that Clemson win to just give them a little bit of good feelings going forward. But I still think it's a team that, like you said, I think they're going to need some time to come together. And I think probably the best thing you can hope for as a Gopher fan with this group is that, there probably will be some struggles early and it's going to look a little bit ugly, but you hope that as the season goes along, they do come together. They do kind of figure out a pecking order a little bit more. They get a little bit more comfortable. Oturu and Kausher really kind of rise to the forefront. And then come February, late January into February, they have rounded into form, so they can be a team that can be a tough out for teams coming in. But I'm not super optimistic about their chances right now and what we've seen so far. I think that they still lack a lot of shooting. They still need help in that regard, and that it's going to be a work in progress all year. And Pitino's going to have to, pull some rabbits out of some hats here to kind of remain competitive in this conference.
Yeah, I thought if they had a chance to be anywhere near as good, it was because they could play a little more modern offense. They could spread the floor, shoot more threes, but you got to be able to make the threes. And
that's it.
Kalsher's an excellent three-point shooter. I'm not sure they know exactly what else they're going to get from beyond the arc. Carr played well last night, but It feels like a work in progress. I'm not down on this team, but I'm not as confident in them as I thought I might be by the time we got to December.
Yeah, I think what you hoped for, Jim, was that last year was a kind of a springboard, and that that they were going to really kind of take that and run forward with it. It seems like it's going to be, not necessarily a springboard, but maybe just it's going to be up and down this season, and so there's still plenty of work that is clear that needs to be done here to add the shooting that they want to kind of give them a roster that on a night in and night out basis, teams are afraid to play and think that, that if they don't bring it, they're really going to get beat. I don't think that the Gophers have that feel right now. Maybe it develops as the season goes along, but right now I don't know that there's many teams that are going to be really worried either walking into Williams or when the Gophers come to their building.
Good stuff from John. Thanks to our producer, Brandon Morton. Again, please follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod, and we will talk to you next week.